Hey, I'm Lindsay Lyman. I worked almost 12 years at Amazon and saw so many brilliant and successful overachievers burn themselves out and leave their jobs because they're so stressed and anxious. But guess what? Having a successful career does not have to be at the expense of your mental sanity and personal time. There's an easier way, and I can show you how. Let's do this.
Hey y'all, so we finished up our series of how do you be okay when you're not okay. But today I want to talk a little bit about the opposite of what do you do when you're feeling good? Sometimes when you've been feeling good and things are going well, we start to get a little bit nervous because we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. But I want to talk about how do you kind of amplify and make those good days more common? And what do you do when you are feeling good? Surprisingly, this is something a few of my clients have asked me about recently. And I was like, oh, okay, let's talk about this because we don't think about this as often, but I think it's equally as important to understand how do you feel good on days when things are okay, as it is important to understand how do you be okay when you're not okay. So it's very similar when we go back to those steps of how do you be okay when you're not okay? You want to notice, you want to normalize, you want to neutralize, and you want to find a new way to think about it. Here's the thing. It's the same thing on the good days. You want to notice it. We really struggle with this by default because your brain is not optimized to look for what's good, what feels good, what's safe, what's working out well. You have so many thoughts coming into your brain. Your brain is constantly filtering things out and being like, not relevant, not relevant. It's trying to help you save energy and make it through the day without getting overstimulated and over-processing everything. So things that are good, it's not bringing to your attention. So if you want to start feeling better, a key step is noticing, when do you feel okay? Most of the time, we don't have bad days. We have bad moments throughout the day. But if you don't allow yourself to feel bad, you won't get past it. And if you're not noticing when you're feeling good, your brain is just going to tell you it just feels bad all the time. So similar to what we talked about of noticing when you're not okay, you want to notice when you are okay. What does it feel like? Where in your body do you feel it? For me, it's not a very intense feeling. When I'm okay, when things are good and we're just progressing along and nothing's wrong, it's a very calm, quiet feeling. It feels very open, it's light, it's airy, it's bright, but it's not very intense. So if I want to notice when I'm feeling good, it takes a lot of really conscious practice because it's very subtle and small and not very intense. I almost kind of think of it as like the wind. The wind is blowing quite often, but we feel it often enough, we don't really notice it and we don't feel it. Unless it's like a major gust of wind and you're like, whoa, what was that? To me, feeling good is kind of the same way. Most of the time, I'm okay. I have these moments of up and down, but all in all, things are pretty okay. You have to listen. You have to notice. You have to purposely seek it out. You want to look at, okay, how long does it last? That light, bright, airy feeling in your body. You want to look for it and seek it out and find those moments in your day. When were you okay? Sometimes it's simply the moment between when my alarm clock goes off and before I've looked at my phone. In those couple of seconds, I'm okay. As I've been trying to notice this to help shift my narrative about some of the stories I tell myself of things in my life, I'm looking for the good moment. So here's an example. I see it quite often with my kids. My kids are at the age where they're like frenemies and they love being around each other and they drive each other insane as they're around each other and they poke each other and they push each other's buttons and they annoy each other, yet they still want to play together, right? As the parent, it's challenging to be around. So those moments of things are good, this is joy, this is life, they're usually very fleeting and small, but I'm purposely trying to notice them. There are moments when my kids were playing in the living room together, just like laughing and having fun. It didn't last very long. It was about 15 seconds and then someone got annoyed or mad at someone. But you know what? In that moment, it was good. And I'm purposely looking and seeking for those moments. And I always call them like taking pictures in my heart. I will literally stop and take a moment and breathe in and feel what I'm feeling in my body and imagining putting a picture on my heart of that moment where I'm just like, this is what life is about. Life is good right now. We're healthy, we're happy, we're connected, we're together as a family. This is good. This is what it is. And I purposely take moments like that and try to imprint them onto my heart so that I can look at those pictures on my heart. I can remember those moments when it's not okay, because it's all 50-50. Half the time it's okay, half the time it's not. Another trick, if you're struggling to notice the good moments, is I would encourage you to find a buddy and every day text them a picture. It doesn't need any explanation, but text them a picture of a moment where things were good. It could be a random moment in a meeting. It could be a meal. It could be a parking spot. It could be a bus stop. It could be a receipt. Like, there's no explanation needed. Just take a moment, take a picture of it, and send it to someone. What this is doing is helping you notice and helping you remember and be in the moment of this was good. And then later on in the day, connect with them. Tell them, why was it good? Usually these good, happy, joyful moments are not when we're hitting these big, huge milestones and intense big things are happening. Life happens in the little moments. It's getting the good parking spot. It's having a meeting start and finish on time. It's laughing with a coworker. It's enjoying a hot cup of coffee on a really cold, dark morning. It's just these little moments. The more you start to notice them, the more you're going to feel them and acknowledge them, and the more of them you will start to have. Okay? So just like we talked about how to be okay when you're not okay, the same thing is, how do you get more joy and more okay moments when things are okay? Step number 1, you want to notice it. Number 2, you want to normalize it. Why does it make sense that you're feeling good right now? You're like, well, I'm not worried about that project anymore. I'm not thinking about that manager that's a total jerk in this moment. I'm sleeping. I'm getting movement. I'm connecting with people. I'm eating things that feel good in my body. I'm getting natural light. Of course, I'm feeling a little bit better. Of course, I'm feeling good. I'm doing those things my body and my soul need to be okay. I'm not rushing this morning. Makes sense that I'm feeling better. You want to just normalize. Why is it totally normal and makes sense that you're feeling good? And then you want to look for, how do I create more of that? Because again, life gets busy and stressful and intense and scary. But when you allow yourself to process it and deal with it and move through it, we can keep setting ourselves up for success and doing those things we know make us feel better, and find the new job, or not rush in the morning, or go to bed at a decent hour, or connect with humans, or eat things that feel good in our body, or go for a walk outside, even when your schedule doesn't have time. Because you notice and you normalize, when I do these things, it helps me feel better. Third step, you want to neutralize it. Okay, this step is crazy because it's the exact same thing you do when it's hard. So if you're struggling with your manager who's a jerk and not very supportive and giving mixed signals and not promoting you and micromanaging you and all up in your business, when we neutralize it and we look at what is, it's simply, my manager said words. But if you're having a good day and your manager came into a meeting for a hot second and said, hey, thanks, good job, and they weren't micromanaging you and those things aren't happening, when we neutralize it, your manager said words. It's the same thing. I look at like that moment with my kids having fun playing games in the living room. I'm like, my kids are saying words in the living room. That moment when my kids are fighting with each other in the living room, neutralizing it, my kids are saying words in the living room. So when we want to neutralize it, we want to look at what is true. There's emails in my inbox. Goal updates are due in 5 days. I slept 7 hours last night. I had coffee this morning. I'm going to tell you why this step is so important here in just a minute. But you want to notice it, which is challenging because your brain is not purposely looking for it. So if you don't make a conscious effort, you won't notice it. So you got to notice the good days. What do they feel like? How long do they last? Like, go and look for them and make a point to remember them. You want to normalize it. Why does it make sense that I'm feeling good right now? How do I set myself up to get more of this? You want to neutralize it. Look at what is true. What is the thing happening outside of you? The data, the facts. And then the fourth way to have more of these good days and enjoy them even more is you want to find new ways of reminding your brain and thinking of things. Remember, your brain's not looking for what's working out. Your brain's looking for what's dangerous and hard and scary and bad and overwhelming. When you're noticing the good, we just remind ourselves, and it becomes part of our subconscious brain, you know what? Things always have a way to work out. Life is okay right now. Things are good in this moment. We just want to purposely think positive things when we're feeling okay. Things like, I like this part. I'm good at feeling calm. I like that feeling after accomplishing some hard things. It's okay, but you want to find a new way of thinking about it. Again, the more times you think it, those neurons are connecting and it's making that thought even stronger and moving to a different part of your brain. You want to think on purpose to help you consciously be aware of the good times throughout the day. And then lastly, just like when things are hard, we talk a lot about what do you need? What would be helpful? When things are hard for me, I like to cry. I like to take a bath. My kids swear into a pillow. I'll vent to a friend. Maybe I need a nap. Maybe I need to go listen to some rage music. Maybe I need to go for a walk. Okay. Just like we need things when we're having a hard time, I'd offer you to have just as long of a list of what do you need when things are going well. And sometimes they're exactly the same. I want music. I want to connect with friends. I want to sleep well. I want to dance. I may want to cry. I want to go for a walk. I want to create something. A lot of the things I want to do when I'm not okay are similar to what I want to do when I am okay, with just a slight variation. Now, instead of talking to my friends and complaining, I'm talking to my friends and I'm laughing and I'm sharing and I'm giggling and I'm being silly. Instead of listening to loud, angry music, I'm listening to fun, upbeat dance music that energizes me. Instead of walking because I need to cry and be sad and process and deal with some things, I'm walking and maybe I'm crying because I'm noticing the beauty and how I am okay and the feelings that I'm having that I've been seeking and wanting. Because here's the thing. This is the are you taking the red pill or the blue pill? Whether you're feeling okay or you're feeling bad, it's really not any different. You want to feel. The goal is not to learn to just feel good all the time. The goal is to learn how to feel. The better you get at knowing how to feel, the less scary and intense the bad ones are, and the more you're able to acknowledge and notice the good ones. Because at the end of the day, the true human experience is half the time you're going to feel what we would categorize as good, and half the time you're going to feel what we would categorize as bad. That's simply like the laws of physics. To every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, a yin to a yang, an opposition in all things. There's a million ways to say it, but half the time things are great, and half the time they're not. And that's okay. But when you know how to feel the times when they're not great, it doesn't keep you stuck and it lets you be the kind of person you want to be. And when you know how to feel the times when things are great, you notice them and you enjoy it. And it makes it easier for you to be the kind of person you want to be when things aren't okay, because you don't just feel stuck and in the doom and gloom all the time. The way you practice feeling good and you make more good days, you want to notice, you want to normalize, you want to neutralize, and you want to practice new ways of thinking to remind your brain things are good. All right, y'all. You're amazing. You got this. We'll talk soon.
If what you're learning from this podcast is helping, this is just the beginning. Each week, I offer a limited number of coffee chats so that you and I can connect one-on-one and talk specifically about what's going on for you. You'll leave this call feeling more hopeful and motivated, But I'm also going to teach you a few things to try right away to get unstuck. Space is very limited and these are free, so grab your spot before they're gone. Click the link in the show notes or go to lindsaylymancoaching.com/chat and sign up today. You got this.